Shalom. So today what I want to talk about is that new blue square. A blue square to show support to our Jewish friends. Then what? It has not become a common knowledge that anti-Semitism is on the rise like never before. That's no news. Just this past week, the ADL released the numbers for anti-Semitic incidents in 2022, and it is not good at all. In fact, these numbers are the highest they've been in the past 45 years since records started being kept in the USA. By the way, if you appreciate my videos, please consider subscribing and giving me a thumbs up and hitting the notification bell so you won't miss any of them. Thank you very much. So according to the Jewish Telegraphic Agency, the ADL, and I quote, the ADL counted 3,697 incidents of harassment, vandalism, and assault targeting Jews last year, which is a 36% increase from 2717 recorded in 2021, and by far the highest total since the organization began tallying the data in 1979. The incidents include one fatality, the killing of a professor at the University of Arizona who was shot allegedly by a student in part because the student believed that he was Jewish. Crazy. The tally also includes the hostage situation at a Texas synagogue early in 2022. And I remember because I was there reporting on that day. It is important to note that these incidents are not just verbal or printed abuse. Since 2012, at the time of the France Toulouse massacre in south of France, Jewish lives have been lost again. Jews are being killed again, just for being Jewish. Looking back at the year 2000, when I started to compile data about worldwide anti-Semitism, things have gotten worse, a lot worse. I used to get looks from people when I said that if things keep getting worse, the Jewish communities of the world will experience the 1930s and 1940s again very soon. Well, friends, I fear that we are now on the cusp of a renewed 1930s and 1940s era for the Jewish people. Additionally, many anti-Semitic incidents worldwide are underreported or not reported as a result of the lack of consequences for the culprit over the years. In other words, when in the best case scenario a person or group is found guilty of anti-Semitism, very little, if anything, is being done to punish them. There seems to be no accountability at all, which emboldens perpetrators to do more harm. I document this and much more in my latest book, The Normalization of Antisemitism, when the oldest hatred becomes the new normal. I'll put a link in the description. We are approaching the day of the very solemn commemoration of Yom HaShoah, known as the Day of Catastrophe in Israel, when all Israelis stop everything wherever they are in Eretz Israel and observe a 2-minute moment of silence, remembering the Holocaust victims. This time of year, the topic of anti-Semitism is always a little more tender than usual because of this commemoration. As we live in the age of the internet communication with a plethora of social network platforms, people can get very creative in expressing support for a particular cause. And there's nothing wrong with that. We often see people's profiles dressed up with hashtag or a flag in support of a country in turmoil. It is no different for those who desire to express their support for Israel and the Jewish people worldwide. A few years ago, you might remember, we saw a deluge of We Remember hashtags on all the networks, posted by people who were declaring their support for the Jewish people and remembering the horrors of the Holocaust. While I agree that any show of solidarity is positive, I still think that many people posted the hashtag on their platforms and then felt that their conscience was cleared of any guilt, and that was it. In reality, soon after Yom HaShoah that year, the hashtag dwindled down to nothing, eventually disappeared. And it was back to business as usual. and people were not really paying attention to anti-Semitism anymore. It seems that we're again bringing attention to the Jewish people in their plea with a new image in 2023. Again, I applaud the attempt at exposing the hatred against the Jewish people. But will it change anything? The new hashtag this time is Stand Up to Jewish Hate. It was created along with a blue square. The blue square campaign was launched by the Jewish owner of the New England Patriots, the football team. He invested $25 million in this honorable endeavor. Many people are starting to display the little blue square in their photos online. The website connected to the square has several links offered to viewers for reporting anti-Semitic acts. This attempt at documenting and reporting acts of anti-Semitism is exemplary. But will it change anything? I have my doubts. Over the years, I have seen many attempts at ending anti-Semitism. And while they were all commendable, they never have gone far enough to move into legal actions and even prosecution. A lot happens on paper and in committee meetings, but very little gets implemented. I've become convinced that anti-Semitism has now become the bully in the Jewish community's courtyard. Even when we know that the bully will return, what do? Even when we know the bully will return multiple times, what do? It is our duty to fight that bully the best we can every single time, all the while knowing that we will not win the battle, or not yet at least. So can we fight against anti-Semitism and oppose it? Absolutely yes. Can we completely eradicate it? I don't think so. The reason why I don't think we cannot fully eradicate it is spiritual. Fighting anti-Semitism is a spiritual battle. Any attempt at fighting anti-Semitism without understanding that it is a creation of Satan who hates the Jews because God loves them is bound to fail. I believe that the Bible clearly explains why Satan hates the Jews, namely because they will one day say, Baruch haba b'Shem Adonai, and usher in the return of Yeshua, the Jewish Messiah, which will also put an end to Satan's career of hate. While people of goodwill and Bible-believing followers of Yeshua should continue to denounce, expose, and oppose anti-Semitism, now is the time to start thinking about what we can do for our Jewish co-workers, family members, schoolmates, and neighbors. A blue square might identify us as friends of Israel and the Jewish people, which in our day and age, by the way, is enough of a target on our backs to get us in trouble. But the real test comes when we must move into action to physically help Jewish people. The time has come to prepare to help the Jewish people around you. Go ahead, publish the hashtag, wear the blue square pin, put the blue square on your photo on the social networks. Good for you. But please, also make yourself ready to become Genesis 12:3 in action and actually come to the rescue of Jewish people. Who knows? It might be as easy as telling your next door neighbor that you've got their back. Thank you, and be blessed.